Oh no.
Missing.
Greg?
Missing.
I thought this was a duet.
Missing.
Oh, so you're just gonna sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds.
Missing.
Can you hear me?
Missing. Oh, missing.
Bonk.
Welcome to Miss Thing. I'm Greg.
And I'm Tim. And this is a podcast that celebrates and appreciates the missed things of the past, present, and future.
Yeah, in every episode, we take a key moment from our Miss Thing's storied career and do what we do best, which is make it all about us. Believe it or not.
How are you doing, my dear friend?
I'm good, dear friend. So listeners, we have not, well, Jennifers, we have not seen each other for
the longest time.
Yeah, it's been a while. We both went on little trips. I went to Palm Springs for a week,
And I went to Fire Island for a week.
Famous island where gay things happen.
And famous spring where gay things happen for you.
Palm Springs. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it did take me a minute. I have actually a really important question for you. Is gay left or right? Ear, I'm talking.
I have never known this. I want to say it's left because this is my thought process behind it. It's right.
I don't know. I cannot figure it out.
I think that it's left in the same way that, like, I think I've told you this before, but I'm a lefty. And when I was going to Catholic school as a kid, the nuns literally called my parents to be like, you need to get him to switch to being a righty because the devil is in the left hand. This is a true story. And my parents, like, sat me down to be like, do you want to be a lefty? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, okay, you're going to be a lefty. And then, like, called the school back and was like, he's going to be a lefty. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And so the devil is in the lefty, which is, I guess, why I'm gay. And so that is why I think it's left.
Well, I can't figure it out, but I feel like everyone has just one now.
Yeah.
That's sort of the famous thing. And it's all straight people that seem to have one, but it's on both ears. Like, some is on the right, some is on the left. It's like, I can't figure it out.
Well, and for the longest time when we were younger, it was like, if you only have one, it's a sign that you're gay.
It's a sign that you're gay, or a sign that you're straight. But now I think
no straight guy really ever had one before. I don't remember that. Like, if you were like a skater boy who was straight and had like an earring, I always felt like you had both. At least when we were in, like, high school.
You're so right, but now gay was one.
Yeah.
And now, like, our clothes and our whole, like, fashion sense, straight is one.
I also am not observant in that same way, but I do believe you in that this is an epidemic that is currently happening in our culture.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's very, like, straight is in the ear of the beholder in this way.
Yes. Wow. And I guess I'm like pan or something because I don't have any. I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah, you're
asexual. I'm asexual. I was trying to think of, I'm demisexual.
Okay.
Little wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Like a plate of glass, like you're made of paper.
Oh, okay.
I think I really bought.
No, but you're kind of throwing people off the scent there. But
well, Demi, you should go back and listen to the Demi episodes. It's one of our finest hours.
Yes, that's really like the birth. Demi is the birth of this pod in a way.
In so many ways. In so many ways.
Greg. Oh,
you're sort of going where I'm going.
I would love to know what your dad mom sauce is. And what is dad mom sauce?
Well, that's nothing if not the doll of the day, mother of the moment, sister of the second, which is our famous segment where we discuss what we are currently obsessed with in the culture. And that, of course, has to be my girls over at the Oppenheim Group.
You know, it's so funny. As you were doing it, I had the overwhelming urge to try to, like, match you and be like, our Don Mom sauce is.
Yeah, you were sort of like.
I was, and then I was like, wait, no, this is not the part. Okay.
Yeah. No, you're thinking Diva Down, which is our famous last segment on the pod, and we will get there. Don't worry, Gennifer. It has been a minute.
I literally was like, Don Mom sauce is.
Yeah, you're like, what's your Don Mom sauce? And you're sort of like jolting at me, trying to get yours out. And I
was trying to mimic. I was like, I don't remember, so I'll let him say it first, and then be like, Don Mom sauce is Oppenheim Group.
The Oppenheim Group. And
Oppenheimer.
Is Oppenheimer. Yeah. And in September 2024, my Don Mom sauce is Oppenheimer. No. And I'm not even sure if you know what I mean by this, but the ladies of Selling Sunset are back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that is a show that I become incredibly invested in when it comes out. I did the famous thing. I was in Palm Springs for a week. I came back. I needed a little bit of time to, reset, recharge. Nicole Kidman's new show just came out.
I watched. Did you?
I watched about 20 minutes of it and fell asleep. I'm a little confused by the tone. I'm a little confused by the tone. Yes. I know we have homework.
You mean the Meghan Trainor opening credits and the flash mob dance?
I feel like maybe that's the least of our worries. I really do.
I have so many thoughts, but I don't want to cut you off. Okay.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk about it next week when I'm more involved. And I told you I would watch it, but then
I watched 5 episodes in one night.
See, yeah. Well, I learned that Selling Sunset came out. There was a new season, and I watched the entire season, all 11 episodes, in one calendar day. in one American calendar day. 11 episodes. They're about 30 to 40 minutes.
How long is what I meant?
They're 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay. So that's like 6 episodes.
Sure. Yeah. These are people that I do not think about. I do not care about. I actually think they may not exist when the cameras are not rolling. But when I'm watching, I could not be more invested in their drama. I don't really care about the houses. The houses this season are pretty good. The drama is quite juicy.
Is the only one I know is Chrishell. Is she there?
Chrishell. So Chrishell goes back and forth for me. One season I love her. One season I hate her. One season I love her. I like her this season.
And she's a lesbian, right?
Yes. Okay. Now, so some news comes to light about one of their husbands. There's no real villain this year, which is kind of
boring.
It's problematic for the show because you sort of need to know who you hate. I mean, you hate all of them in a way, but I
never have that
issue. Someone's given information about one of the other women's husbands that he was seen in a lobby, like making out with some other girl, and that's sort of where all of the drama comes from.
Why would you be making out in a lobby? It's sloppy.
I don't get it. So then it becomes about. So then they have the woman who finds out their adversaries. She finds out this information about her adversary, and she actually doesn't really want to bring it to her. She's like, I wish I didn't know any of this, but she did film a scene. So then the entire rest of the season is about, well, did you actually set up that scene and did you know anything about it? So it's doing this behind the scenes meta reality TV production thing, which has been done on Housewives recently, and I think the viewer is wise to it, but I of course was salivating.
I'm not the biggest reality girly other than Drag Race, which is my whole personality. But
which you started a year and a half ago.
Exactly, but then now it's the only thing I consume other than Perfect Strangers, I guess. Or Perfect Couple. We can never get the name. And by we, I mean me.
You're sort of saying it at me and I'm like, what's that?
Well, I just have some notes on why it's called that, because it's the most bland title of all time. And it's also been done before, where it feels like there's been 30 movies, again, which I can't remember, and 30 TV shows that have been called The Perfect Couple, or Perfect Stranger, or 9 Perfect Strangers, or, whatever, where it's come up, just, if anything, call it The Nicole Kidman Show.
I mean, at this point, I saw some headline about the airport novelization, how her TV career has become one airport novel after the next. It's the most bland, breezy, quick read.
Well, the thing is that she is just a woman who likes to work. And so I think that she's kind of like, that's just where the market is. So I don't even think that it's like that's her, like, because she's about to do Baby Girl. And then, or she just did that. And that's the one that she won the Best Actress for Venice and will come out. And it's like, she's naked in that whole thing. And it's super sexual, feels very eyes wide shut. In a way that I'm like, I think it's like while she's waiting to do Baby Girl movies, she's just like, okay, I'll do an Undoing. I'll do Nine Perfect Strangers because she simply cannot sit still. Just in the sense of like Nicole has done that with like Stepford Wives. She's done this part before in a way that like the difference between Nicole Kidman and so many other actresses who are going to be like, I've already done that before. I've already done like a hint of that. So I'm not going to do that in my next part. Like I'm just going to say no. Nicole is like, I've already done it, but let me see if I can do it slightly different this time, and there is no difference.
Sure.
You know?
She knows repetition is what the American public really enjoys.
Reputation.
Reputation.
Reputation TV. When are you coming out? Reputation is the way to perfection.
Wow. Do you happen to have a Dot Mom sauce, Tim?
I do have a Dot Mom sauce. Can I remember it? Yes, I can.
It's not the perfect couple which we just spent a tight 10 on.
I know, exactly. So, as you mentioned, I was in Fire Island recently. And at one point on the trip, we went to the sunken forest. I always want to say shrunken. The sunken forest.
Yeah, I think of little heads.
It is this magical little like mysterious place on like the very far end of Fire Island past Cherry Grove, which is like the lesbian section of the island.
Past the meat rack, past Cherry Grove.
Yeah, and then it's like there's a beach and then there's this like beautiful forest. And it's like there's like tons of beautiful trails and then you get to a beach on the other end of it. So we did that on one of the days and it was just like a perfect afternoon, and then in comes like a rolling summer thunderstorm, and we are so far from civilization at this point where we're like, okay, it is bare minimum going to be like a 35-minute walk while like basically running, like run walk to Cherry Grove to like get to shelter.
Right.
And at
lightning striking.
Yes. And I also love a summer rainstorm, so I was like kind of fine with it. But at the same time, like there was 8 of us, and people were starting to get stressed because there was lightning and it's downpouring.
Yeah, the summer thunderstorms in New York can get like kind of violent.
Yeah,
they are so nice, but they're intense.
Well, and this weird thing overcomes my body, which is like other people are freaking out, and I'm like, we're alive! Isn't this so fun? Because there's something about it being warm and rain that I don't freak out. Like I'm just like, it just feels so like magical and cinematic.
You're putting on your best Drew Barrymore.
Oh, I'm like Rachel McAdams in The Notebook, just like, you know, like running into his arms like on the beach as it's raining, you know.
You suddenly pull out a metal rod and hold it up as high as possible.
Everyone's like, Dad, put it down. And I'm like, we're alive. But, and so we're running back basically into civilization, but it's taking forever. And then honestly, my enamoration, that's not a word.
Your enamel.
My enamel starts to fade. I have to go to the dentist in the middle of this.
It starts to fade.
Yeah. Well, I just realized my teeth fall out, actually.
Yeah,
okay. And it's a dream. No. But so even my love for the summer rain starts to stop because it's just like we're getting drenched and we are starting to get colder. And then after like, I don't know, 25 minutes, Claude, friend of the pod, sister of the pod.
The sister of the second and the pod.
Yes. He is like, guys, I can't do this anymore. Like we need to find shelter. And we're all like, well, we have to just keep going until we get to Cherry Grove.
Right.
And
we are in the shrunken forest.
Exactly. And so we're shrunken. Thank you. There's water taxis on the island. And so there was like a dock where there was like a boat terminal that was like barely a shelter. Like
very Doc Mom sauce.
Exactly. Like, Doc go. Wait.
Doc Goose.
That's what I was trying to do.
But Doc Go I think is a search engine.
Exactly, which is Anthony's search engine, which I never understand. But I think it's more private, I guess.
Oh my God.
Anyway, the results like don't, like you'll like type in like what like it'll be like Meryl Streep, and then it will like not be a photo of Meryl Streep, and you're like, what is this?
I have tried that before. It's impossible to use.
It's impossible. Anyways, I will never tell this story.
We're at DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
I'm sort of not going to let you.
Yeah, so we're on DuckDuckGo, and we are like, he's freaking out, so we're kind of like, okay, let's just like huddle in this little like boat terminal that there's 8 of us. It's such a small shelter on this dock that like only 6 of the 8 of us are even able to like huddle in this corner to like not get pelted by the rain. And so we're just like waiting there, and then as we're just like more time goes on, teeth are starting to chatter, we're getting cold, mosquitoes are coming out because it's still like that summer New York wet moment,
and a billion of them just bred.
100%. We're all kind of like, why can't we go? It is still raining, but it's just like fine. Like one in the group is feeling a certain way, so we'll just wait.
Sure. And now it's turning into Shutter Island.
It really is, and Shutter Island is a good thing because us being gays, we are kind of bored, and we're like, what do we do? So we whip out our phone. We start taking pictures of each other. Shutter, shutter, click, click.
Sure,
you know?
Yeah, my phone famously shutters.
Whenever it sees you. You go, and so we're just like one by one, we're like, oh, well, what are we going to do? So then we're just like snapping pictures in this like huddle. And then like, oh my God, that's so cute. Oh my God. And then people are starting to get jealous. And they're like, no, get me. And then it turns into slowly like a full photo shoot in this. And then people are like, wait, you know what? Like, I'm going to get into the rain and then like take a picture of me wet in the whatever.
Okay, everyone's doing Drag Race first challenge.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
First episode
the
of Drag
wigs
Race.
wet. Yeah.
And then this couple walks by so like nonchalantly, and at that point the rain had started to pick up, and so we all were kind of like huddling back in the shelter, and they were like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, oh, we're just like waiting for the rain to stop, so we wanted to seek shelter. And the woman just like, she goes, you know that just 10 feet farther is a restaurant. And so for an hour we were in this like cold mosquito infested boat terminal, and had we just kept going 10 feet farther, we would have found shelter. So my dad mom sauce is Claude, sister of the pod, because he simultaneously ruined the trip but also made the trip, because those photos are now priceless.
Wow. But at least, you know, I know there, as gay men, it's so important, A, to have community, B, to have good photos. Okay. Should we take a break?
Let's take a break. Welcome back.
Famous. God. Famous thing where we sort of can't figure out our return.
And next time I'll say we're back and you'll say welcome back.
Yeah, it's what we do every single time.
But it's kind of maybe our thing, our myth thing.
Future missing.
Sure.
Us coming back from break. Well, speaking of miss thing, I think it's time to get into our miss thing of the week. This one's really exciting.
I am so excited about this miss thing.
Yeah, and I cannot wait for her new movie, which is coming out at the end of September.
So our miss thing of the week is Demi Moore. I am obsessed with this woman, and I will say I was slow on the bandwagon because she was always a part of my life, and I always liked her, but then I read her memoir, and I'm a big celeb memoir person. I haven't really talked about this on the pod, but I am. Her memoir is in my top 3 best memoirs. It is, listeners, Gennifer's, if you are looking for a good, amazing read, her life, even before she is famous, what happens to her is insane. And then her life dating, and just recap Demi in general. Yeah. She is an original Brat Pack member. The list of credits, it's like Ghost, G.I. Jane, Indecent Proposal, Striptease, Now and Then.
Oh my God, I forgot about Now and Then.
One of the best movies of all time. And then I believe for probably both of us, because I feel like everyone of our age, it's Charlie's Angels Full Throttle.
Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, which was just another one of like her comebacks. I felt like she keeps sort of coming back.
A Few Good Men.
A Few Good Men. You Can't Handle the Truth.
Ooh.
She was in like also every sexy 90s thriller. Like a sexy erotic thriller. The woman is just so dynamic and like oozes sex appeal but power,
The
and
voice,
she has
that
like a
rasp.
Oh my god. Ghost, when she looks up and the tears fall from her face, that is to me
Cinema.
You said it.
Yeah.
I was talking, but
we were on the same wavelength.
The amount of times I like reference that in a writer's room, like in every show I've ever worked on, I've made a joke about like they look up Demi Moore style, tears stream down, because it's such an iconic image.
And then it's also like her with their hands holding while doing the pottery.
Oh,
it's like
pottery. I mean, she put pottery on the map.
This woman, and she also, like, there's so many things. She is, I don't know if she's the original, but in my mind, she's the most famous. I think she's the original, but maybe not. I don't want to go on pod saying that. She's the most famous person in my mind of taking the Annie Leibovitz pregnancy shot while naked.
Wow.
She is that girl.
There's so many moments. You're actually hitting me with so many moments that I wasn't even expecting. Like, she is cool. She's such a cool girl. So sexy. Like, so funny. Married to Bruce Willis.
Married to Ashton
Kutcher.
One of the worst. Sorry. I'm not. After listening to that memoir, you will walk away still loving Bruce and not liking Ashton one teeny bit.
Ashton?
Ashton is what I like to call him.
I can't say I don't really remember a time that I loved Ashton one tiny bit.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I was like attracted to him.
He is hot.
Stupidly.
Dude, where's my car?
Exactly.
But I was always more into Sean William Scott, SWS.
Of course, he's the hotter of the two.
Stifler.
And also, we have to transition right into talking about this. But it's also like, the two other things I want to talk about. She was also great in Margin Call, which was a later movie.
Oh my God.
And then the thing that I think is maybe her most famous, iconic trait, that long hair.
The long hair.
Stunning, beautiful. It's her signature. I can't get enough. She is currently 61. She looks younger than me.
Well, that's not hard.
Yeah.
That is not hard. And of course, we are sort of discussing her because when this episode comes out, The Substance is coming out, which is apparently an absolute revelation.
Tour de force.
Performance from her. I cannot wait to watch it. It's so my type of movie. I love when a great actor does horror and like horror.
That was so New York of you.
Yeah, no, that
horror.
Sort of caught in my throat. I think it's
I love what a great actor does. Horror.
The pumpkin spice catch in my throat. 'Tis the season. Ho 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 horror.
Honestly, that's like a good tagline for that movie because I do think it's like sexy thriller. So ho ho ho. Horror. Horror.
Yeah, of course. But a movie about a fading actress taking some sort of substance that I think turns her into a younger version of herself. And ultimately, it's supposed to be so incredibly like violent and wild and crazy. I cannot wait to see it.
And she's getting Oscar buzz for it. And I don't think she's ever really gotten Oscar buzz. Maybe I'm forgetting a performance, but it's like at this stage in her career, I'm so excited.
So proud of her. Love Demi.
Greg, how do you make Demi Moore all about you?
Well, we've already mentioned the film, but when I think of Demi, of course, I think of the film G.I. Jane and sort of everything that represents. She was famously, of course, the first woman who's ever shaved her head.
Ever?
Ever.
No woman has ever shaved their head before Demi Moore. Demi Moore walked so Britney could run.
And so Natalie Portman could run.
And so Florence Pugh could run in her latest movie. She's coming out with there's a new rom-com with Andrew Garfield where she shaved her head. Yeah.
For a rom-com.
Maybe, and I think it's actually I want to say, I'm assuming just from the thing, I'm assuming Florence, I have not seen the trailer, I don't know anything about it, but I assume Florence Pugh dies because she's shaved her head, so she has cancer. But anyway, so it's one of those tearjerker.
Gotcha.
We will never remain on track on this episode.
No, this is not an episode for remaining on track.
Yeah.
And that's the movie with the image of the horse, right? When they released the first image of it, and they're sort of on a carousel, and there's the horse. Like,
it's funny,
and it became a big meme.
I don't think I would say that a horse on a carousel is how. Then I would say horse. I would say like carousel.
Well, don't police my language on our podcast. That is so sick.
Well, I'm pulling my badge.
Anyways,
you're being arrested. Okay.
Anyways, back to G.I. Jane. So here I am on my hair journey on this pod.
I knew it. Okay, keep going. I just had a feeling that she is so famous for her hair that I was like, I almost did a hair story. And so I was kind of being like, I wonder if Greg will do a hair story.
Yeah, and my hair is almost Demi Moore length. That's sort of where I'm
longer, in fact.
That's sort of where I'm going with this. That's where my hair journey ends.
One can only hope.
But I was, of course, thinking to G.I. Jane and of course, my constant hair issues. And I wanted to discuss the time that I first shaved my head, which is something that I do every once in a while.
And you pull it. I don't think you have any hair issues. 1 and 2. I'm very jealous of because you can pull off any hairstyle, and so if I were to shave my head, people would be like, when is your Make-A-Wish? Whereas for you, when you shave your head, everyone's like, oh my god, hot G.I. Jane.
Love that. I had never shaved my head as an adult. I sort of had hair. That was my thing, and I never... It's not everyone's thing. It's not everyone's thing, okay? And it doesn't have to be.
Oh, Greg, what's his thing? Oh, he has hair.
It's one of my things. I contain multitudes.
I would say it's kind of the only thing about you. When people say, like, what would you say about your friend Greg? I'd say, oh, he has hair.
He has hair?
Anything else notable about him? No.
It's sort of
really.
all that's coming to mind.
And then they're like, what's new with Greg? I'm like, oh, his hair's longer.
That is what's new with Greg.
Full stop.
Yeah, okay, and that would be accurate. So when I was fresh out of college, I was living in New York, and I was working at a Mexican restaurant in Union Square, which will remain nameless. It was the worst job.
Taco Bell.
It's the worst job I've ever had in my life, and I've had many.
Ooh, okay.
I've had many. My friend Raysham, shout out to Raysham. She just had a beautiful baby boy, Covey. We love him. He's so cute. We will, of course, put photos of him on the podcast.
Never me, but we will do.
No. And Raysham and I, we used to get into some trouble. So Raysham and I, we were at brunch one morning, sort of as 20-somethings do. It was probably the middle of the week. I don't know what day it was. And we had a few drinks. And for whatever reason, at that moment, it came over me that I needed to shave my head.
In the middle of brunch.
And Raysham, of course, being the go-getter that she is, decided she needed to be the one to do it.
Oh, my God.
Said we were going to do it right then and there. I had work later that night. At work, they had a very strict policy, a very strict grooming policy, which was insane because you should have seen...
to groom people.
You should have seen the uniforms we wore. Like, you should let people have beards. You should let people do whatever they want with their.
Wait, but what was the uniform?
The most sexless outfit you could imagine. Sort of not unlike the one I'm wearing now. So Raysham decided she was going to buzz my hair. I needed to do it. I couldn't get through the day without it. But of course, I was like 2 hours from having to be at work. And if you were late, you were like fired, basically. Yeah. There was no second chances. So we couldn't find a buzzer. I go, okay, I actually have a buzzer at my place. We can go up to my apartment and do it there. I couldn't just like go down the street, buy another one. I didn't have money at this point. I certainly wasn't making it at the restaurant. So
look at you now.
Yeah. Look at me now. So we take the subway all the way up to Harlem. It takes about 45 minutes. It's not quick. We get there. We need to hurry. Yeah. We need to get this show on the road. We need to buzz my head. So Racham pulls out my buzzer, which I've only ever used on a beard before.
Yeah, it's rusty.
Yeah, and she starts going. She won't let me look. She's laughing. She's all excited, and then all of a sudden, the mood turns dark. The mood turns dark. And she's like, I think there's something wrong with the buzzer. So I look at myself in the mirror only to discover I look like Cynthia, which is Angelica's doll from the show Rugrats. My hair is patchy. It's sticking out in every direction. It's a complete nightmare.
And at no point did Racham notice the trend that was happening as she was doing it?
She noticed, but I think she could maybe keep going.
She thought she could just fix it.
Yeah, she thought she could fix it, and it eventually it became very clear that there was
the point of no return.
No return, exactly. So I had about at this point maybe 40 minutes to get to work. I run to a barber across the street. I'm in Harlem.
Yeah.
This is 15 years ago. I go in there. Everyone's in seats. No one's available. White guy, only white guy. I'm like, I need a buzz cut right now. I need to get to work.
Full Karen.
Yeah, everyone turning what? So someone, I was like, it's an emergency. I need a buzz cut right now. No one asked questions.
No one looks up.
Someone was like, okay, here, get in my seat. He quickly buzzed my head. I, of course, had buzz shock because I've never gotten my...
Did he make any sort of comment, like, what happened?
He was just like, this...
Hillary Clinton, what happened?
This is a disaster. Yeah. He ended up charging me $100 for the buzz cut because it was an emergency, and which I did not have. And then we had to get in a cab all the way down to Union Square to get to work in time. I was there at the minute, and as soon as I got there, my supervisor made fun of me, my haircut. He said I looked like G.I. Jane. I should have famous Will Smith, slapped him right there. But much like Demi Moore, when I shaved my head, it was misunderstood by the masses. But that is the night I decided to quit. That's the only job I ever quit and sort of walked off the job.
One, I'm jealous because I've never quit a job and I wish that I did. The other thing is Demi Moore looks so hot as G.I. Jane. So if he wanted to hurt you, he failed in my opinion, because if someone called me G.I. Jane, I would be like, thank you very much.
Well, as you know, it's such a pedestrian joke and it's gotten people in trouble. I mean, look at Chris Rock. Look at Will Smith.
It is crazy that all those years later that was still the joke. It's even it pierced the culture so much that was still a reference point in a way that Anne Hathaway and Les Mis. There's so many.
I forgot about that.
There's so many examples of people shaving their head, and but yet it's the Demi Moore of it all, because she is Miss Thing.
Yeah, again, first woman who's ever shaved her head.
Exactly. First woman to ever pose. But I do think that is the truth. I believe in the memoir. It is she is the first one to do a pregnancy shot. And I'm sure the listeners will come for me and be like, actually, it was Queen Elizabeth.
Who also coincidentally was the first one to shave her head. Publicly.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyways, I've been talking for far too long. How do you make Demi Moore all about you?
Okay, well, how I make Demi Moore all about me is, the first thing I think of is the thing that really imprinted on me as a child, which is her running in slow-mo in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle out of the water with that banging body.
Yeah.
and being like, okay, I guess my best life really is in my 40s, because that was the culture. It was like, she's in her 40s and she looks this good.
Yeah.
And I was like 10 at the time, and I was like, I can't wait to be 40.
Yeah, you've been chasing that body ever since.
I'm still, I have a couple years to go. But I'm worried I won't ever achieve it.
Oh my God, it's incredible. I mean, between her and Justin Theroux.
Oh my God.
And that movie.
Yes. But so, for me, I think of, banging beach bods and trying to get that perfect summer body.
Okay.
Which makes me think of when I was 14, I was hanging out with a friend, and we decided, you know what, we really want to get tan this summer. I've always been pale. I want the perfect tan. Huh. And so she was like,
your skin doesn't seem to want to allow.
And this is one of those big moments. This is a learning moment for me, which is I was like, I've always been pale, but this is the day that it all changes. This is the day that I get that perfect summer glow. I'm going to be sun-kissed. People their mouths are going to drop. And so we lay out in my backyard. It's a cloudy day, but my friend assures me, he's like, oh, when it's like cloudy, like you can still get a tan.
Sun's extra strong on a cloudy day.
Now that part I did not know. So we lay out for like an hour with no sunscreen on, by the way, because I'm trying to get a tan.
Yeah, you're trying to get some color that day.
And after an hour, she goes like, I think I'm good. And I was like, well, I'm not seeing any difference, so I'm going to lay out for an extra hour. So she goes home. I lay out for a full second hour. Go back into my house. I then, right before I take a shower, and I'm about to go meet my friend Molly at her place. It's the middle of the summer.
You were booked and blessed that summer.
Blessed.
My God.
So I was like, I get into the shower, I look at myself, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. I'm tan. I am I've never looked better. It is the color I've always imagined my skin should be,
Sure.
It looks like I just got back from Hawaii, So then it's a 15-minute drive to Molly's place. I get there, ring the doorbell. Her mom answers, and my chest is puffed out. I'm literally thinking Mrs. Farrell is also going to be wowed. She opens the door. I'm smiling, and she goes, no. And I was like, what? And then her hand literally like jiggles on the door and almost closed it and had to stop herself. And I was like, no, what? And then I was like, she must be like just so taken aback by maybe she was like attracted to me because of how hot I am right now. And so I'm like, a weird reaction, but I'm not going to think anything of it. And she goes, Tim, are you feeling okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm feeling better than ever. And she's just like, okay, I'm going to just take you to the mirror for a second. And I was like, okay, I already kind of know how good I look. So she takes me to the mirror. I, in that moment, see just how red I am. And I decide to double down and be like, but I don't see anything. I'm like, I guess there's like a little bit of red, but like, look at how tan I am. I'm so dark. And she's like, honey, I think you're really sunburned. And I was like, I don't see it. Is Molly home? Like, where's Molly? Like, I was just like immediately like, what are you doing?
She's like, Molly can't see you right now.
And so then
it's too terrifying. The substance.
Fully, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, like enough of this. Like, get Molly or whatever. Right. Not the reaction I want.
Right. So then, Molly's gonna tell me how good I look.
Exactly. So then I'm like, she's like, okay, I think you're sunburnt though. And I was like, I politely disagree. And then she goes to get Molly from like the back of the house, like Molly's coming out. And I hear truly like stage whisper her being like, Molly, he's really badly sunburnt, but in denial. So she's literally like, so just tell him he has a good tan and whatever. And I'm like, what the hell, Mrs. Farrell? And so then Molly like comes around, and before she even sees me, she's like, great tan. And I'm just like, ugh, like I don't believe this. And so then we go into like the living room, and we're watching TV.
They don't see what I see. They don't have the vision.
And so then we're sitting there, we're watching TV. Her mom comes into the living room and gives me a Costco size thing of aloe vera. And she's like, just in case you might need this. And I'm actually like, if anything, like I'm like cold. Like I'm gonna, you know what? Like
cold. I need a blanket.
I did. I was like, I'm actually gonna put this blanket on because I'm so cold. Like I don't have a sunburn. And she goes, okay. And then leaves. A couple minutes later goes by. Kid you not. has 2 ice packs that she just like put on this thing. She's like, again, just in case you want the ice packs. And at this point, I can recognize that my skin is feeling very hot.
Yeah.
But I'm not admitting it at all. And so I'm like, no, if anything, if you got a second blanket, like, I'll put that on. I'm like shivering. Burr, it's cold in here. And then, like, 30 more minutes goes by. She comes in. She's like, I just want to check. Like, are you okay? And I'm, like, kind of annoyed. But in that moment, I was just like, I think I need to go home. And she's like, you do? And I was like, I'm in a lot of pain. And then literally, I longingly look at the Costco aloe vera, and she's like, go home, feel better, take the Costco aloe vera. And it turned out that I had such a bad burn that I was like, for a week, could not get out of bed. My chest, still to this day, like it peeled so much that like in certain things, like if I do like a run, like I can still kind of see the markings of like how, because like 5 or 6 layers of skin got peeled around my chest. Like it was such a bad sunburn. Anyways,
what I would give for a tan right now.
Well, it kind of is like, that was like maybe that, and there's a couple other stories which I'll probably eventually tell because I have a million skin stories because I'm really cute like that. Where it was the beginning of me realizing that this body is meant to be pale.
Well, I'm glad you survived.
Thank you. Should we take a break?
Sure. Welcome back. Should we get into Diva Down?
We should.
Yeah, Diva Down, of course, is our segment where we give unsolicited advice to something, a person, place, or thing that's happening right now that could really use our advice. The advice of 2, worldly is maybe not the word, but
intellectual is probably not the word.
Probably not the word, but 2 gay guys. 2 gay guys. Yes. Yeah.
With a lot to say.
With a lot to say. And that, our Diva Down this week, of course, is
Capri Sun. Okay, I'm going to go right into it.
This is egregious, honestly.
It is. I haven't had a bigger reaction in such a long time. Capri Sun is now changing their to bottles. It used to be pouches, basically, where you stab it with a straw, and it was the most fun drink you could drink.
Yeah, it was basically like an aluminum foil pouch. That, granted, it was almost impossible to get the straw
but that was part of the fun, and it's literally everyone's childhood.
Yeah. And it tasted delicious. Delicious in that aluminum foil pouch.
And also, it's just like, it represents joy to me. And they're trying to take our joy away by switching now to just like a regular like Gatorade style bottle.
Regular plastic bottles.
Where the fuck is the straw, Capri?
What's the point, Capri?
And it's also like, my thing is, so this is my advice, which is, if you are going to do this, one, just to be practical, then you better put some like aluminum foil on the top and and attach a straw to the outside so that we can, put a straw through the top of it.
That's an incredible idea. I'm actually going to go one further. I think you need to line the insides of the bottle with aluminum foil, because what's enjoying a Capri Sun if not worrying about drinking metal shavings?
And also, like, I don't want to know, is it clear? Is it a color? Like, you never kind of knew what the color of Capri Sun was.
You're not supposed to know.
Yeah, you're not supposed to know. And so that's my advice. My other advice is, if you aren't going to do that, then stop. You've already gotten the press, and go back. Stop ruining our childhood. Yeah. And also, if you are looking for 2 people to promote it, we of course will do it. And I will actually, about face, and I will, if you want us to promote that Gatorade style thing, I will do it happily. I will literally promote the shit out of it. So Capri, call us.
Yeah, Capri. That's some of the best advice. I will gladly chug some Capri Sun from a plastic bottle. I have straws. I can put foil on it myself and punch through it.
We'll make our own aluminum pouch.
Yeah, if you are going to support this podcast in the way that America wants you to, we're game. We're game. Yeah. But until then.
Until then.
Also, I'm sorry. thinking about how are you going to fit a plastic bottle in a lunchbox?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. It was an economy of space. Mm-hmm. You were able to. I feel like everyone drank Capri Sun because you could fit it in the lunchbox, even better than a juice box.
You could fit it in a Lunchable.
You could fit it in a. Could you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you could.
I think they came with Lunchables.
They did?
I could be fully rewriting my childhood, but I feel like there was a time where there was like they would put because it would just like. It's a liquid thing, so it would just like smash in the box with it. But maybe I'm making that up. It was like a bigger version. It was like a deluxe.
I believe it, and it's just so sad because I feel like also Capri Sun was the promise of summer, the promise of outside in the middle of your school day.
It was innocence. It was childhood, and you're taking that away.
Yeah, I'm gonna bounce off you. I'm gonna say you need to. You have a chance here to boomerang on back. Announce that you made a mistake. America loves a comeback. America loves a redemption arc. You have a big opportunity here to do the right thing. Do the right thing and get back in your aluminum foil patches. I believe that's what it's made out of. Patches? Pouches. Well, anyways.
And also, all that being said, call us. We will promote whatever you want us to promote, Capri Sun.
Honestly, any way, shape, or form. And you're going to need us because the people are going to revolt.
An idea just coming to me, Capri Moon, glow in the dark.
Capri Rising.
Yeah, we're already coming. Look at all this.
We'll go astrology.
Yeah,
we'll go astrology with it. Capri Moon. Wait.
Well, mine was gonna say like where it's like so then it's like a dark aluminum. It's like black, but then there's like little moons that are like neon that glows in the dark, and the liquid glows in the dark.
Are you hearing this, Capri Sun? Are you hearing this?
Exactly. You guys are missing out on an opportunity. Anyways, we've talked for far too long.
It's been years.
So we're going to get out of here.
All right. We'll give your ears a little bit of a break. We love you so much. We'll see you next week, Gennifer Zs. In the meantime, do not support Capri Sun. Unless, of course, they are sponsoring us.
Yes, and subscribe.
Yeah, please like and subscribe. Please give us a comment, something really nice.
Put up a story
on Apple. Yeah, we're looking to grow the Gennifer Z clan.
Tell a friend. Make sure your auto downloads are on.
Phone a friend, even. Well, warn them first, because no one really likes to
warn them for how hard they're gonna laugh and
and cry probably.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyways.
And with that, goodbye.
Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zintek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons, with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zines.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Miss Thing the Pod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zintek on all social media.
BONK.